Dana, thank you very much for joining me here at the HSBC Golf Business Forum. First of all, just tell me what you've made of the event this year here in Abu Dhabi.
Well, again, it was interesting to see the perspectives that are always somewhat different from group to group and person to person, and obviously the two areas of growth in golf today seem to be the Middle East and maybe Asia. As far as development, the rest of the world a little bit slowed down because of the crisis of 08-09. But there's golf being built again, primarily in a couple of areas, and was talked about a little bit, but also talked about that as a cautionary part of that, we need to be careful not to be thinking that things are positive again, because it is still a bit of a realignment in the golf industry for sure.
Well, you talk about development in golf, particularly over here. You've been a huge part of that. Just explain to us the work that Troon does over here in the Middle East.
Well, in the Emirates in particular, it's a very positive golf environment here, and the main reason for that, of course, is an imbalance of supply-demand. We have an expatriate population here that's unfulfilled as far as the golf they'd like to play, and now a tourism element which is ever growing. I think Abu Dhabi has been double-digit growth in tourism for years now, Dubai the same, and so what you have is an ability to build a golf course here, as long as the water's available through the desal plants, that can be instantly successful. And so Troon has been a big part of the growth here. We've been here for many years now, since the early 2000s, with an office here, and we're hiring additional people, which is always a great sign to be for our future growth.
And for those that might not be overly familiar with Troon Golf and your role when it comes to creating and developing more courses worldwide, just explain how the process works.
Well, we're a company that is primarily a third-party manager, much like a hotel company would be. We're in 33 American states and 28 countries. We do existing golf courses or development. I mean, obviously the development cycle in the U.S. is pretty much over for the time being, so our U.S. model is mainly taking over existing golf courses. But in parts of the world, like the Middle East, like Asia, we are developing as a partner to owners, trying to get the golf course built on schedule, on time, on budget, and then perform well post-opening. So that's mainly our role.
And you talk about work over here in Abu Dhabi. I mean, it's growing into such a great golfing region, and how does having an event like this here this week really help to push it further?
Well, it highlights the fact that it's here. It also brings people here maybe for the first time who will now come back or tell people about it. Because again, the wonderful thing here would be, for Europe in particular, is that you have a situation where you can guarantee the weather factor. So unlike Spain or Portugal, where you might get a few rainy days in the winter, if you fly here 5.5, 6 hours, you can be guaranteed 4 days of golf if you want to play it. And as more golf courses get built, that mass or that clustering of golf will allow people to come in and play the 4 or 5 different golf courses while they're here. So the plans that are in place here over time should probably happen. We'll see a few more golf courses built, and over time it will be more and more of a golf destination, I feel.
What do you look for when you look to take on a new golf course? Something
that's of a quality level that we think we can keep it, represented at a very high level, something that will be a great experience for people, but more importantly that we can deliver what the owner's looking for. And in some cases that may be an amenity to sell real estate or put heads on beds in a hotel. In some cases a pure profit model of, can this golf course make sense? In many cases we have to look at a golf course and tell the owner that the feasibility study that they have isn't going to work. And maybe it'll break even eventually, but not in year 2 or year 3 as they were maybe told. A lot of feasibility studies maybe were a little bit rosy, especially in 2007, pre the crisis. So sometimes it just is a re-looking at that, but in many cases, the golf course will go forward, especially in regions like this, where success is almost guaranteed here because of the imbalance of supply-demand.
So Troon is open to different models of golf courses?
We do a third of ours are public, a third of ours are resort, and a third of ours are private. And so we do, and we have 230 golf courses, so roughly a third of each group.
And do you think a concept like this Golf Business Forum, is fundamental in terms of developing our game?
Well, I think that every region, it's essential to have something. In Europe, Middle East, in particular, it's a great, because number one, Europe is the primary feeder market into the Middle East, and number two, the Middle East is one of the few areas right now where successfully development can be done. And so I think that it's important for the region to be represented that way. So this event being here is very important. Hopefully there'll be events to come that'll be like this, where you can show people in focus and essentially show how good the golf is. And on top of how good the golf is, how easy it is to access the places. It's not a hard place to get to. There's lots of flights. It's easy to get through customs. And then very shortly thereafter you can be playing golf.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you here this week.
Thanks for having me.